Welcome back, everyone. The iPhone SE third generation just eventually came out, so let's go and compare it against the iPhone 6s Plus and see which specific iPhone you should go and pick up. Now, obviously, the SE3 I think is the better iPhone in every single area, but there may be a couple of times or a couple areas where the iPhone 6s Plus is actually kind of interesting. Now, I will leave some iPhones I love linked in the description down below. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely tell the iPhone 6s Plus is a much bigger phone. You actually have a 5.5-inch IPS panel on the front of this iPhone, and it's actually a really decent panel. It's just I'm not a fan of the things surrounding the panel, so I don't like the bezels on it. I actually do like the home button and the Touch ID as well, but I do like the gesture-based design more that you have on the more recent iPhones. So this one I actually do kind of have not a love for in my opinion, but it's not a bad panel. I actually do think I have automatic brightness turned on here, but I definitely do think with the SE3 the panel isn't really that much better, to be completely honest. So those are some big things to keep in mind. With something like the iPhone SE third generation, though, you do have a little bit of a smaller 4.7-inch panel. So this one isn't at the same caliber, I would say, as the iPhone 6s Plus in terms of sharpness, but you do get things like True Tone on this phone as well. So you're getting True Tone, so that makes the panel look a little bit better. And to be honest, that's why I like the iPhone 10R or 11 from back in the day as well. It had a True Tone panel, and it made the panel look that much better. So when it comes down to these two, high resolution here, but I do think the better panel on the iPhone SE3. Now, in terms of thinness and thickness between the two, honestly, they are roughly around the same, as you guys can tell. One iPhone doesn't really feel that much thicker than the other one, which is actually surprising. For me personally, I do think most iPhones are probably around the same thickness, but in this case, they are roughly around the same thing, which is so weird. On the back, though, couldn't be any more different. The iPhone 6s Plus has this aluminum back, which still looks good. I don't really have too much to complain about it here. The iPhone SE3, though, definitely has this really nice glass back. In terms of premiumness feeling between them, the iPhone SE3 definitely feels much more premium, but the 6s Plus doesn't feel bad. Like, it doesn't feel like a cheap phone or a ugly phone or anything like that. Both these phones look great. The iPhone SE3, though, is way more premium. You're getting wireless charging on this phone, and you're getting IP certification on this phone as well, which those are really big things to keep in mind with a phone like this. This is a much more premium and just much more capable phone when it comes down to it. So in terms of that, that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of longevity, the iPhone 6s Plus is pretty much on its last leg of software. This thing is not going to be lasting that much longer here. I mean, it may get like, maybe if we're lucky, some security updates, after iOS 15. But iOS 15, this version that it's on now, it's the last one it's going to be getting. So I wouldn't expect this iPhone to last that much longer. So that's a big thing to keep in mind. It's not going to be lasting really that much longer, probably past June, but it's going to be getting security updates properly. The iPhone SE3, on the other hand, this iPhone is just getting started. I mean, this thing has the latest chipset inside. So this iPhone is realistically probably going to end around 2027, maybe even past that. So this iPhone is going to be lasting for a long time. And I really even wouldn't even worry about the performance or anything about this iPhone because it's going to be really, really good for the next several years for sure. So that kind of covers it up there. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these iPhones. The iPhone SE3 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone S6s Plus has that Apple A9 chipset inside of it with 2 gigabytes of RAM, the first iPhone to bring 2 gigs of RAM. So let's go see which one is faster one between both of these. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see both these panels. I know it's not at the clearest level. Okay, I just moved them up a little bit more, so they should be a little bit better. So let's get into it. All the apps are cleared out in the background, as you guys can tell. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And the SE3, which was right here, was much faster. Music, 3, 2, 1. And I think the iPhone SE3 again was a faster one there. Let's get into mail, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone SE3 again was the faster one, but the 6s Plus still actually kind of fast. Photos, 3, 2, 1. SE3 again, much faster there. Hopping out of there. Let's go into their app stores, 3, 2, 1. Now, I don't think, yeah, so they're both not connected to Wi-Fi, so we'll just go and hop out of that one. Clock, 3, 2, 1. And roughly about the same thing here too, so not a big deal. Let's go get into Apple TV, 3, 2, 1. SE3 again is faster. The iPhone 6s Plus, I guess, is stuck or something. I'm not really too sure. Let's go into settings, 3, 2, 1. And the SE3 again is the faster one. So that kind of covers it up there. Now let's go into some of these third-party applications, which I actually don't have any of on the 6s Plus, probably because I ran out of storage. So let me go and come over here. We'll go load into some of these stock apps. Books, 3, 2, 1. And again, the 6s Plus, much slower. And for an almost brand new phone that I have on the 6s Plus for it being factory reset, it is actually substantially slower. Calculator, 3, 2, 1. Almost the same thing. And I don't mean substantially slower. It's probably slower than I thought, but it's actually still kind of fast compared. Camera, 3, 2, 1. You can see again, I think the 6s Plus definitely a little bit slower there. Contacts, 3, 2, 1. Actually, still kind of fast on both, but the 6S Plus was slower. Let's go and get into files, which I don't even have here, which is weird. Okay, I do 321. And the 6S Plus, definitely, again, it's a slower one. We can do iTunes Store 321. And again, the SE3 was faster to get into that next panel. Magnifier 321. Again, SE3 is the faster one, but the 6S Plus is still doing a great job, in my opinion. Measure 321. Again, I would say it's probably faster on the SE3 right there. Hopping out of that one. We'll go and do podcast 321. Again, iPhone SE3 is the faster one, but like I said, the 6S Plus is still doing a great job. Shortcuts, which we have right here, 321. And again, this SE3 is faster, but I'm still surprised how good of a job the 6S Plus is actually doing. Let's finally end it off with like the Watch app 321. And definitely the SE3 is faster. So every single time the SE3 has been faster compared to these phones, but for some reason the 6S Plus is still doing a great job. I'm not really too sure why. So when it comes down to the performance between these two, the iPhone SE3 is definitely faster, but the 6S Plus actually kind of surprised me. So that covers it up there. Let's go and hit on the cameras. Now on the back, like I mentioned, a single camera setup on both of these. They're wide-angle lenses, 12 megapixel sensors as well. On the back of both of them, you can do 4K at 60 on the back of the SE3, but the 6S Plus can only do 4K at 30, so that's kind of a downside. You can only do 720p video on the front of the 6S Plus. The SE3 can do 1080p, so there's kind of some advantages with the 6. So there's kind of some advantages with the SE3. Now I used the 6S Plus for about a year or maybe even less than that, and it was a good camera. I didn't really have too much to complain about it here, but I do think compared to nowadays, it is pretty limited. You don't have portrait mode, you don't have 4K 60 on the back, you don't have 4K 60 on the front, so it is kind of a limited camera. But I do think the SC3 to the 6S Plus, there's not really that crazy big of a reason. Like I wouldn't consider the SC3 having a way better camera than the 6S Plus. It is better, but the SC3 is still super behind compared to even like an iPhone 13 or iPhone 12, even to be honest. The 6S Plus is kind of a dated camera to be honest, but it's not a horrible camera. I could still use it, but it's really not that great. It's missing a lot of lenses. It's missing a lot of features that newer cameras definitely have. And it's weird because I think the iPhone SE3 is almost in the same boat. I don't think the iPhone SE3 is that much, crazy, better than the 6S Plus. I definitely do think it's better. It's a better camera overall, but I think it's kind of subdued by the fact that the iPhone 13 cameras are so good. And this one's still having a single lens. I'm kind of thinking about the iPhone 13, 13 mini, 12, 12 mini, even the iPhone 11. I'm like, those phones have, multiple sensors, 4K 60 on the front. This one doesn't really have it. So we are kind of limited there. You still have portrait mode and, you don't even have cinematic mode here, but you do have 4K 60 on the back, which is nice. But overall, the iPhone SE3 camera is definitely better. And that kind of takes us to the end of the video. And to be completely honest, the iPhone SE3 is the better phone here. Of course, the 6S Plus is better in some areas, the higher resolution display, the headphone jack, different things like that. Bigger battery technically, but the battery life is still better on the SE3. Longevity is definitely there for the SE3 though. And that's the main reason I would recommend going from a 6S Plus to the SE3. If you need an iPhone that's going to be supported for many years to come, well, the iPhone SE3 is a no-brainer. This iPhone is literally just getting started, so it only makes sense to buy it. But with the phone like the 6S Plus, it really doesn't make too much sense to buy this phone anymore. It's going to be outdated with software very soon. The performance isn't actually really that bad. When I just compared it right now, it was doing much better than I thought. But it is kind of a limited phone now, and I wouldn't really recommend anybody to purchase this phone anymore. Like I mentioned, buying something like the iPhone SE3 is going to be way better, but you don't have to go from a 6S Plus to an SE3. You can go from a 6S Plus to an SE2 and still get a really good phone. You can go from a 6S Plus to an iPhone 10 and still get a really massive upgrade as well. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. I think the SE3 is definitely a better way to go from the 6S Plus, but you can go get an iPhone 10 or iPhone 10R and still have a really big upgrade as well. So that kind of covers it. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I got you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.